the little icon in the lower left-hand corner.
Hey.
Hey, there you are. Hi, what a wonderful joy it is to see your beautiful face.
Oh my gosh. Good to see you.
It's crazy time, isn't it?
Cray, cray, cray to the cray, cray, cray.
Yeah. What are you doing to try to stay? We're recording already, by the way.
Oh, okay. Wait,
What are you doing?
Let me
Sorry,
kick my
what, hon?
out the room. Hold on. Let me kick my dog out the room. my chocolate Labrador wants to go on his walk. So when he's ready to go on his walk, he's ready to go on his walk.
He's on his own schedule, and that's just that.
Right. I've been busy all morning doing some Zoom things with work with Kent State because we're looking for a new a part-time trumpet professor right now. Yeah, so I'm on the search committee for that.
Ah, very good.
They put a voice person on the search committee for the
for the brass guy. Well, you know, whatever. It involves the breath, you know, close enough.
Exactly. And they do actually want some diversity. So I do
very good.
Put me on that, which is great. It's been great. Great.
Good. You know, we first met at back in the day at City Opera. And you did sing there, did you not?
Yes, I did City Opera.
I thought so.
City Opera, yeah. On was it 2000? I debuted as Porgy and Bess with John DeMain conducting. That was my debut there. Yeah.
John is from Youngstown, Ohio, by the way. Do you know that?
Is he really?
Born and raised there. Yes, absolutely. Talk to me about your time there. You know, it was 2 exciting and crazy years for me. I mean, that was back in the day when City Opera was still mighty. You know, it had such an incredible reputation. Do you remember your audition for City Opera?
Yes, I actually do, Randy. I really do. Okay, so my audition was, I was leaving out of Juilliard, and my teacher, Beverly Johnson, and who actually was Renee Fleming's teacher also. So I knew
that's
Renee.
all.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah,
wow.
So Renee Fleming was a wonderful mentor to me while I was at Juilliard.
Wonderful.
And she said, she was like, Kishna, yes, just go for everything that Beverly tells you to do. Do everything Beverly Johnson tells you to do. So I went over and I auditioned with everybody else. And I will never forget, John DeMain said, okay, do that again. And I did Best Shoe Is My Woman. And then he said, wait, do it again. And I must have repeated it like 3 times. And I said, huh? He's like, do it again. He's like, it's good. Do it again. So I literally had to, I didn't sing the entire duet. And it was, of course, by myself. So, Best Shoe Is My Woman.
You're singing both parts.
Singing all parts. But it literally, he was like, do it again. And then I did the Summertime, of course, in A minor, not B minor, because Bess does it in A minor. And then, I mean, I got it. I got the job.
Yay!
Ever since.
For what used to frustrate, I mean, my first year I was really happy at City Opera. Second year I was kind of over it.
Wait, what were you doing? You were conducting. You were conducting.
I was on the conducting staff there for 2 seasons.
Oh.
And because, you know, I remember rehearsing the quartet for Mikado literally backstage 10 minutes before curtain. They were in their costume. We'd had no rehearsal time. Tell me about did you feel adequately rehearsed when you went on for Porgy, or was it like, oh my God, I don't know where I stand?
No, absolutely not. You're so right. Because we rehearsed somewhere like behind where City Opera was, you know, one of those rehearsal buildings or something.
Right.
I was studying under, I was a second cast, of course, studying under Marquita Lister, Alvy Powell, all those, the big ones. And then, and I literally had no rehearsal. Oh, no rehearsals. And they were like, okay, Kishna, let's go. Okay, these are your dates. And I was like, my dates to perform? And they were like, yes, these are your dates to perform. I had no rehearsals on the stage, and I literally had to go out Right. And I don't have a weave in right now, so I can pull my hair. Right. It was crazy, but I killed it.
Oh, yay! That's wonderful. Well, you know what? It's funny because in some of these interviews, Carol Winsense, the famous flutist, Zul Bailey, famous cellist, they all have stories of a big moment, you know, a major new work or whatever like that, and the composer's backstage making changes, you know, 10 minutes before curtain time. It's just a common thing. We've all been there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's back up this conversation. Why opera? When was the first time you heard a legit voice sing opera? What was it about opera that grabbed you?
Okay, so opera called me. I didn't call it. Growing up in a Black church, my father was a pastor. Actually, my father was a forensic scientist before he became a pastor.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story, another day.
I guess so.
Woo woo! But yeah, I am under the we are Church of God Reformation, which is out of Anderson, Indiana, and we're about 500, 600 Black churches that the white church of Anderson, Indiana set. So we are Church of God, and they set our church in Howard County, which is in between DC and Baltimore, Columbia, Maryland. So I grew up in a church, but I grew up literally kind of, I would say, my parents, they were wonderfully set with us by privileging us to have piano lessons. So I had my piano lessons. I was a cheerleader. I did all those things that, you know, that a lot of my Black colleagues did not do. So I was exposed to a lot of that culture when I was younger, but still growing up in a church, singing gospel music and all of that. But then I went to Morgan State University and under Dr. Nathan Carter, and I literally did a master class there with Leontine Price. Yes! And
oh
she
my
actually,
God.
Wait a minute, she actually still lives. She lives in Columbia, Maryland. Her brother, General George Price, was one of my mentors, and she still lives in Columbia. She lives in Columbia, Maryland now.
I didn't know that.
Oh yes, so
God, what a voice! Oh my God.
We did in the master class at Morgan State University. We did Bel D, and literally she was singing, I was singing. And I got so many phone calls the next morning after that master class from Towson State University, from Maryland College, University of Maryland, Maryland College Park, Peabody. I got all these phone calls from all these schools wanting me to come to sing and do their graduate studies, to do my master's. But then she said, and I called her after I got all these phone calls because we were doing Bel D.
Right.
And I sounded just like her. People were like, oh my God. She literally said, oh no, Kishna, if you're going to get all these calls from all these people, I called her and I said, what should I do? And she said, no, you need to audition for the number one in the school. And then she told me to audition for Juilliard. And then that's when it hit. So it literally, it clicked with me when I did that master class with Leontine Price at Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland.
Wow. Well, I mean, to get that kind of endorsement from her,
yep,
that would be all the, you know, send off you would need. Okay, if she thinks I can work, I can do this, I can make this career happen, boom, I'm off and running.
Did it.
Wow. Was she nice? Was she friendly? Were you nervous to sing for her?
Yes and no. I was not nervous because I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Then yes. You just don't know. Now listen, when she came back, when I saw her again, she came and did a master class at Juilliard, and it was my second year of my master's degree at Juilliard, and we did Doretta's aria.
Yeah.
Right. So La Canzone di Doretta, and we went up to the high C together and all of that. And then I looked at her and I was like, oh my gosh, and I have so many pictures. I'll have to send them to you. But I have pictures.
My God, do.
Oh yes, I have pictures. And she was like, no, darling, stay flat on your feet. Everything stems from the feet. Foundation. You have to stay on your feet. So I told my students to this day, everything is founded on your feet. And then when you do that, you spring forth off board, but you have to be founded on your feet. So when you're singing that, of course, octave low right now, but you stay founded on your feet. And I explain that to my students even now. I'm a big sports fan. Look at sports. Football players, what do they do when they get ready to get that ball? They're getting their feet ready. Golf players, what do? Feet. Tennis, feet. It's about being founded on your feet. And that's one major thing she taught me. So no, I wasn't scared. I just didn't know.
That is a case when ignorance is bliss, is it not?
I didn't know.
Because I mean, I'm just like one of those nutty Laetine Price fans. What was the?
She was so nice, Randy.
Was
she was so nice, Randy.
I mean, nice. I remember that special that I saw for the opening of Lincoln Center and Cleopatra. That's what it was.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, it just doesn't get any better than that. Did she coach you specifically on more repertoire?
Say that again.
Did she coach you on other repertoire?
No, I did not have a lot of coachings with her except for those master classes. She had literally started to she was retiring at that time. She was done. I mean, and she was very clear to say, darling, I'm done. And she literally did. I think Renee Fleming might have been the last one who I think probably had major coachings with Leontine.
I see. But
Leontine did not coach me. Again, Kathleen Battle and Jessie Norman, those three Black sopranos, they were, our mentors of that day back in the late 90s. But they didn't do a lot of coaching. Yeah,
I understand. Now tell me, because a lot of folks think that God gives a singer this incredible voice. And I suppose who can argue that? But what they don't know is the daily regimen, like any instrument, of practice and study. You need to speak 3-4 different languages fluently and sing them. Talk to me, because a lot of folks don't know, about the discipline, the daily discipline of being a professional opera singer.
The daily discipline, literally, so I would say this. Let me give you an example. People ask me all the time, they're like, Kishna, oh, come on, are you able to sing at my sorority meeting? Or are you able to sing at a church convention? Or are you able to sing at such and such a wedding, blah, blah, blah? I say, a lot of times I say no, because we prepare ourselves the same way as if I'm going out and singing on the stage at the Kennedy Center, which I've done many a times. The discipline that you have to do, literally, I still wake up to this day. My Beverly Johnson taught me, all your life you will go back to the basics. And I have that written on my score of Tosca. All your life you will go back to the basics. And it is, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. But still, I'm not gone 390 days out of the year, which they're not. But like I used to be on the road for 25 years singing opera, 14 months out of the year. But I'm not doing that as much anymore as I've taken on a new role with teaching as being a professor. But it's still the same thing. When I get up and I sing, go back to the basics.
Fascinating. Every 5 notes up and 5 notes down.
There you go.
There you go. Now, you've sung in Europe. Talk to me about, are the opera houses in Europe different from City Opera or some of the opera companies in America?
I would say the opera houses in Berlin, then Stuttgart, Rome, Italy, all Siena. I would say the opera houses there are incredibly more acoustically sound. I mean, you could, when I walk into a house, I always snap my hand.
Me too. I clap hands. Yeah. I want to hear the echo. I want to hear the color of it, the length of it, everything about it.
That's right. And that's the same thing. It is so much easier to sing over there in those houses.
Are they smaller?
They are, some of them were actually smaller, but again, here I find that we have, is there carpet in some of our houses here? I can't even remember. I think even at City Opera, there's carpet. I mean,
yeah.
Even if it's thin and light, right? There's carpet. See, that mutes the sound. You know, I don't know what do we have at our theaters that we sing at with you.
Well, I mean, I'm blessed. All three of my main theaters with my symphonies have wonderful acoustics.
Beautiful acoustics.
The one in Poughkeepsie was built in 1869, so really is a European style opera house.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it only seats 950 people.
Wow.
Concert halls seat 2,000 or more, and part of it is, and they're made of cement instead of wood. Mm-hmm. But both Youngstown and Anchorage spent a lot of money to buy a fantastic acoustical shell. So really, we're blessed with great acoustics in all three. Tell me about your favorite roles and why. Okay,
so I would say my favorite role, of course, because I got my start with Porgy and Bess. Bess was my truly favorite role. Still is my favorite role because it opened the door for me to do that role. And as we know, Porgy and Bess, they say to do the entire opera, Gershwin's have it written down that only Black people can do it. So I would say that is my favorite role because she's a crazy person. I mean, Bess is cray to the cray. I would love to actually do this with you one day. But
I would love it as well, absolutely.
but she literally goes, you know, from really truly trying to find love. All she really wants is love, but then she cannot give up those drugs. The drugs is really what's instilled in her. And we know we have that to this day. You know, we see people like that. I would say also Aida was that was something. Woo, Aida
wow.
That was something.
It's like a marathon, really.
It's like a marathon.
4 hours?
And 4 hours. And, you know, in Tosca, it's like, I do the roles. I was telling someone the other day on the trumpet search committee. They were like, what roles do you do? I said, I do the roles where the girl kills herself or she goes off on drugs at the end. I'm not the girl that I don't get married and I don't do that happy.
That's funny. Well, opera's about sex and murder, pretty much.
Sex and murder, right. Sex and murder, man.
There you go. What's the most difficult role?
Let me see. Oh, that's a hard one, Randy. Again, I mean, Aida, because you literally go from you're going from and then you have to keep that high, light, lyrical to get to the that is the most difficult. Aida.
I'm not at all surprised. I've worked with you singing in German, in Latin, and in Italian. I assume you speak French.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite language to sing in? You know, well, I mean, many say Italian is their favorite. What was the hardest language to learn?
Hardest language, I would say, I think about it now. French, Grub. My teacher was Grub. French is the hard. French
was the hardest.
French was
Have
the
you
hardest.
done a role in French?
Well, I've done some scenes from Carmen. I've done some scenes from Carmen. Of course, I do the arias that Carmen does, but I never tackled the role of Carmen yet. But I would definitely say French is. And even I do Rusalka. So the check there for
wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. Slavic languages, that's crazy.
Oh yes, Rusalka.
Awesome. That's my background. All Eastern European. There you go. had another question.
Yes, I would say French.
You've also done a lot of oratorio. You've sung with some great conductors, the Beethoven Nines and such like that. I assume along the way, there have been some recitals. Talk to me a little bit about the difference between doing a fully staged opera, singing a recital just with a pianist, singing or an orchestral work. They're three very different lives. How do you transition between those three?
Yeah, and the great thing about working with you, I always tell people that Randy Fleischer is a you're a conductor singer's dream. To have
so
you
sweet.
as, no, but it's true. It's so true. To have you as a conductor because you understand our voice. You give us liberties if we know what we're doing.
Artists like you, I do.
That's but and that's the truth. You have to know what you're doing. Again, training these singers now, not just to be a singer. You have to be a musician.
Oh, thank you, Lord. Please, that's the thing about you. You are so easy to follow because the word I use is musicianly.
Mm-hmm.
When you shape a phrase, it's the phrase dictating, not your voice dictating. There's some they sing the next note in a rubato moment when they feel it right in their voice. The phrase is pulling you, and so it's so easy to just lock into you eyeball to eyeball and connect in that telepathic conductor singer way.
And that's how you do it.
You.
So that's how you all as conductors. Wow.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I learned from my mentor, Rostropovich.
Wow.
Because everyone knows him as a cellist. He was a phenomenal pianist, and his wife Galina Vishnevskaya, he probably played 1,000 recitals with her. And he was a phenomenal opera conductor. And when he was training me to accompany him, and any second I took my eyes off him, he would stop. Ishka, there, don't look there. You look right here.
Wow.
And he was right, because there comes that communication.
Yes.
I mean, now, you have to, depending upon where you're standing, if you're downstage and it's oratorio, you have to look back to see the conductor. So you can, as a conductor, just by the way a singer makes the phrase, and singers like you, again, I come back to this word musicianly, it just feels so organic the way you shape your phrases. Did it help you learn to do that? Or is that just a natural thing where you just feel it and that's what comes out?
No, I honestly think, and I'm gonna get back to your last question. I'm sorry for digressing, but I honestly think it comes from really me growing up in the church and the gospel music and the spirituals. And I will never forget, again, with Beverly Johnson, when I was just learning all of my oratorios or my leader or my art songs, all that. She said, okay, Kishna, what I need you to do is I just need you to start singing Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Sing something that's familiar to you. Then go into, give me oh my gosh, I can't even think of an art song right now. Oh my God. Just give me anything. So it's literally placing what I'm connected with. Then I interpret it into the language.
Wow.
The language song. So that's literally how I continued. And people would say in my reviews, oh, she's such a great actress, or and I was like, I'm not acting. I'm just singing to express, not impress.
That's a great piece of pedagogy. That's something to learn, about teaching. Start with something that you're completely familiar with and making the phrases completely organic and natural, and then transfer that organic, natural feeling to the art.
That's right. Oh, that's right. So
that's a brilliant piece of pedagogy.
Thank you. So if you're from, again, I'm telling you, I learned from if you're from Russia, again, I tell take what is your what are you connected with? Sing a song that's in Russian, or sing your song that's in your Spanish song, or sing that, and then we create it into our leader and all the other stuff that we just create it and we put it into it, and then it just becomes so organic. And again, it's singing to express, not impress anybody. You're not trying to impress anybody, because if you express it, then the impression will come. And then the people will honestly feel it. So I would say, going back to that last question, was, singing recitals and things like that. I would never forget. Leontine taught us also, if you cannot sing a recital with just a piano, then you really can't sing. She said things like that, like, you have to be able to sing these art songs, and then you have to be able to go back to the 24 Italian greatest hits and sing Caro mio ben,
Right?
and really make that but if you can't sing that, she's like, don't get up here and try and sing no operas with me right now. You don't understand it yet.
Wow. Well, you got to walk before you sprint.
That's right.
Wonderful what you say, express, not impress, because the truth is you can't control the impression you make on those people. That, you know what I'm saying? But what you can control is if you're connected to your soul and your feet.
That's right.
You sing or conduct or play.
That's right.
Great advice. Now, you're sort of almost transitioning into my next question. You pivoted your career from a phenomenal international career as an opera star to teaching. Tell me about that. Do you love teaching? How does it feel to teach?
Never, ever thought I would be actually a professor now. I would have never thought that. But I am so grateful, Randy, that I started a music school back at my now my brother's church in Columbia, Maryland, because my brother and his wife, they have 7 children. So
Wow.
my brother took over my father's church about 13 years ago, and he was so tired of taking his and this was when I lived back in Columbia, Maryland. I'm in Ohio now, as you know.
Right.
But he literally used to take his children to ballet class, to piano class, to trumpet class, to percussion class. He's like, Kishna, can you please help me? And we have an academy. We have an academy at our church. So he said, how can we do something? Can we do a school of the arts or something here? Because I'm so tired of taking my kids all over them. Because his kids were in the academy at the church. I said, yes, easily. So I hired a staff. I was still on the road. This was back in the early 2000s. I was just, I was still on the road.
Still gigging, yeah.
Just starting. And he said, how can we do this? I said, easy. So I put together a school of the arts, and it was a certified school of the arts.
Wow.
With certified ballet instructors, again, piano teachers, all that stuff. So I wanted to give back. And once I did that, I knew I wanted to give back. So I did it, and I fell in love with these kids. Then we have a sister church in Baltimore where, Baltimore, they couldn't afford to pay for our classes and stuff. So we got grants and things like that. And we were able to give these underprivileged kids things that they're not able to have. And that is what makes me happy to this day. So to this day, by me being at Kent State University, I have the entire support and backing of our School of Music here and our College of the Arts and the university, where we were going to start at the LeBron James I Promise School. March 13th, we were going to start an after-school enrichment program. Then here comes Corona.
Yeah. Ouch.
Oh, yes. So literally, it's, again, I've been here with the Boys and Girls Club and things like that because it's my passion to give back and give these kids the opportunity. If they don't have the opportunity, then what will you know what's out there that's talented and gifted? There's so many talented and gifted kids, black, white, yellow, green. They're so gifted, but they just can't afford to go to take all those private lessons and things like that. So we are hopefully we'll get back there maybe in the fall, probably not this fall, but we'll get back there soon. But this being connected here with the I Promise School, the LeBron James School, in collaboration with Kent State University is amazing.
Wonderful. Yay. Listen, my final question, because I know your time is precious. It's been, with all the riots and all the discussion of racial injustice and, just this terrible history of racism in this country, what do you see going forward is the role of the artist? I don't just mean the African-American artist. I mean any artist to be a contributor to the common good and to just keep chiseling away at this terrible rock of systemic racism. What is the role of the artist?
Yeah, Randy, the great thing is that people like you, people like Patricia, people at Youngstown Center, all your supporters that you have in all of your realm, I know, don't believe in what is happening right now. I know it makes you sick because I know your heart. I know your heart. It's very hurtful. I say we need to start from within our community first. I'm speaking of myself as a Black person, we have to start within our community first. We have to stop killing each other. We have to stop, beating each other up and being jealous of each other and pulling each other down and all that. We have to work within our community first. Then we're going to be able to be an uplift to the world. And one thing I have been saying is, you as a white man, and I work with a lot of white people. I'm the only Black female there in our department, but we're about to make a change to that also. I tell my white colleagues, we have to, as a Black person, fit into your world. We have to fit into the white man's world. You all have a choice to come into our world. If you really think about that, I want people to really think about that. So it's hard for us. We hurt daily because we've been dealing with this for 401 years and counting, as we know. But we do have to work from within our community first. Then we have to learn to continue to love on the white community, all the communities and things like that. But if we do not strengthen ourselves up and educate ourselves, then we're not going to go far. It's a burden on my heart to think, how that man passed away. He was literally lynched by a knee, George Floyd, right. And no one, I know no one who truly has a heart says that was acceptable.
No.
So it's hard to answer it, and that's a whole nother conversation, Randy. That's a long conversation, but I do say we have to really strengthen ourselves from the Black side, from the African American side, educate ourselves as much as we can, and then pour as much as we can to give back to educate those who feel like they don't have any hope or feel like they can't do anything. Those ones sitting in Chicago or Detroit or, all these places that are rural areas or the ghetto, as we call it. That's my passion, to reach back to these people and say, you are worth something. You can make something out of your life. You can do something, in your life to help someone else. If I can help somebody, the hymn says, as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain.
Let's end it right there. World-renowned operatic soprano and amazing human being, Kishna Davis. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Randy. Love you, man.
Love you too. Kishna, was there anything that I should have asked that I didn't?
No. Now, where does this go? What is this?
Here's what I'm going to do with this. On August 22nd, I'm going to edit this down to about a 5-minute clip.
Got you.
A big online fundraiser in Youngstown.
Excellent.
I'm going to offer this because you've sung with all 3 of my symphonies as content, like all the other folks who've done these interviews. Jody Benson did one, Carol Winsent, Zul Bailey, the famous cellist, Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, who I know from Rocktopia.
Excellent.
Other people like that. We're all going to put these up on our websites just because we're basically trying to just reach out to our patrons in any way we can. We're
Excellent.
recording musical things, interviews, anything, just to kind of keep them feeling like they're in the loop, with a little button on the lower page that says donate.
Excellent. Very good.
So it's just a way to reach out. We're going to do this short version.
And to stay connected.
The 2nd of August. It's called the DeYor Livestream Gala.
Okay.
Heidi and my daughter are just coming in right now. Let me just end the record button.